Hello Internet! I've got one more game for you recorded on my phone from the World Championships. Like I mentioned yesterday, it is recorded on my phone, so it's a bit shaky and the quality is not fantastic, but as you can appreciate, you can't record mid-tournament. So I hope you enjoy this. I recorded this because I thought it was quite an interesting game. Hopefully you enjoyed yesterday's double Scarf, actually it wasn't Scarf, but double Mega Tyranitar, which you don't see every day. But this is actually a game 3, so this one's a bit more tense, and it's actually pretty scary. This is round 6 against a Japanese person called Yuki Shimizu, and he's got a Mega Gengar with Perish Song on it. It's kind of like a Perish team is, and Cinera's got Protect on it. And annoyingly, he's got a Scarfed Tapu Bulu, a Jolly Scarfed Tapu Bulu, which in testing, thanks Dan, I basically figured was one of the absolute worst things that this team could come against, because against Mega Gengar teams, I need to pretty much rely on Mega Tyranitar to Dragon Dance up and crunch it to knock it out, because my Lele isn't Scarfed, and +1, a Scarfed Tapu Bulu still outspeeds Mega Tyranitar, so I'm feeling not good, in this matchup. I'm pretty scared, and because it's figured out that his Tapu Bulu is so good against my team, I'm really fearing him leading his Tapu Bulu this time. But because he's got Mega Gengar, I feel like I need to lead with Tyranitar. I need to put some pressure on straight away, and I need to lead with Smeargle as well too, because in my testing I basically figured out that against Tapu Bulu I need to, or against Mega Gengar rather, in the face of a potential Tapu Bulu, I need to transform into the Gengar turn 1. So both game 1 and game 2 we led exactly like this, but in both games I transformed into his Gengar straight away, which means that, okay, I'm a Scarfed Mega Gengar, I can threaten them with a Shadow Ball. If he wants to make a sneaky switch here, not fake out into his Tapu Bulu, then I am a Scarfed Mega Gengar, and he is trapped, and I can Sludge Bomb it to eliminate it straight away. So that is pretty much what I did game 1 and game 2. So game 3, I try and mix things up a little bit. I try and do something a little bit different. So both games, by the way, as well, I just Dragon Dance with Tyranitar turn 1 because I know that he hasn't got low kick on Incineroar, especially at this point. I know that I'm safe. But this time, I actually withdraw my Tyranitar. Now, Tyranitar, aside from the Tapu Bulu, was very good against his team, so he does want to take care of this threat. But he doesn't want me to Dragon Dance in front of him. But I'm not going to this time. I bring in Lele, expecting maybe a fake out this time, because I didn't switch Lele in, at all, any of the other turn 1s. So, Psychic Terrain, which works quite nicely with most Scarfs, really. Well, it does work nicely with Scarf Smeargle here, I think. He does go for the fake out into what was a Tyranitar, and I get a free Spore here into the Gengar, which is fantastic. It does mean that already, in this game 3, I've got to basically roll around with some sleep turns, which is pretty nasty. In this situation, you just know that he's going to switch his Incineroar. I know that he's got Tapu Bulu in the back, and he has got Amoonguss as well. He's got 2 Grass-type Pokemon. One of them, I was expecting the Tapu Bulu. One of them is going to come in for the Incineroar here. So I'm thinking I could just Shattered Psyche right into that slot and get rid of whatever's going to come in. But the Mega Gengar does hinder my plays so much. I think I really have to just get rid of this Mega Gengar. Like, I know the Incineroar is going to switch, but I have to get rid of the Mega Gengar and hope that he doesn't get the first turn away. He does switch the Incineroar. It isn't to Amoonguss, so a Shattered Psyche would have eliminated that. In a previous game, I actually switcherooed the Amoonguss at some point and figured out it was a Piapa Berry. So it is the Psychic Resist Berry, but a Shattered Psyche, I do believe, would have still one-shot it. But, I'm just thinking, I need to get rid of this Gengar. I'm just going to play it safe. I'm just going to Spore into that slot, whatever. Don't care if it's an Amoonguss or whatever coming in. As long as the Gengar stays asleep, I can knock it out, which I do. And my plays become so much freer now, thankfully. But I'm still not in a brilliant position, because I know that he probably will have Tapu Bulu in the back. He knows it is very good against my team. And it is Scarfed, so he will be able to outspeed my Tapu Lele and knock it out. And potentially speed tie with Smeargle, which is really awkward because Smeargle and Tapu Bulu are both base speed 75, so some nasty stuff could happen here. Also, very significantly, in the second game, he won game 1, I won game 2. I won game 2 with Smeargle, Tyranitar, and Tapu Lele. I didn't show what my 4th Pokemon was. In the first game, it was Volcarona. I brought Volcarona. In the second game, I didn't have to reveal what it was, but I actually brought Kartana in the back because I knew that Tapu Bulu was so much of a problem. It sounds strange, that doesn't take in Kartana over Volcarona because the Tapu Bulu is a problem. But I know that this Tapu Bulu has got Rock Slide on it as well, which my Volcarona can survive, but I feel a bit safer with Kartana. He's probably got superpower, but I feel safer with Kartana, against a Tapu Bulu than my Volcarona, knowing it's got Rock Slide, if you see what I mean. But because I didn't reveal that I had Kartana, he actually asked me at the end of the second game, was it Volcarona in the back? Because I purposefully, stayed in with my last 2 Pokemon, and because I didn't want to show my last thing. He asked me, was it Volcarona in the back? And I was like, maybe, you never know. Didn't want to reveal that information. But anyway, all that long speech basically comes down to this turn, because he doesn't know that I've got Kartana in the back. He doesn't know that I brought it game 2, and this is a really nice switch in, basically. And Barry actually makes a defensive play for once. I actually protect my Tapu Lily, bring in the Kartana because I know he's going to Wood Hammer and probably Spore. And yeah, Kartana is very safe there. But now I'm still not in a good position. I'm assuming that this Among Us hasn't got Hidden Power Fire or whatever. So I'm assuming that this Among Us can't touch my Kartana, and another Tapu Bulu is locked into Wood Hammer now as well. So my Kartana slot is absolutely free. I'm fine here. He's only got Incineroar in the back. If I get a Swords Dance up even, I'm pretty sure Kartana just wins the game outright, from now, So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm thinking that Tapu Lele is probably the most expendable thing as well too. I do want my Smeargle to be around, and I do want my Tyranitar to be around as well. So I'm actually just going to leave my Tapu Lele in here, because it does mean he's going to get some recoil on his Tapu Bulu with the Wood Hammer, assuming he does Wood Hammer into here. But he does. He just goes straight for the Wood Hammer, knocks out my Tapu Lele. In grassy terrain, that's definitely a one-shot. And because I have got Swords Dance on my Kartana, I can just Swords Dance up here. I'm at +1 now, and both of his Pokemon are very, very threatened. I've not used any Z moves either, so definitely I'm threatening the one-shot onto the Incineroar. But I bring in Smeargle, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's a speed tie. So if I lose the speed tie, worst case scenario, if I lose the speed tie, I could go for a fake out into the Tapu Bulu and maybe, an all-out pummeling into the Incineroar. But then what if the Incineroar goes for a fake out into the Kartana, and then I've just wasted my Smeargle, basically. And I basically felt like, I don't know if it is a Jolly. Actually, do I know if it's Jolly? Maybe I do know if it's Jolly. Maybe I'm just going for a speed time. But I'm thinking it's probably better that I just go for a transform here, because I should just go for the fake out, just because even if worst case scenario he wins a speed tie, I've still got my Kartana around, and Kartana I still think can probably win the game here just by itself. But he just goes for the fake out into the Kartana, and I do actually win the speed tie, and turn into a second Kartana, a +1, and he Wood Hammers into the Smeargle, and obviously takes nothing because it's quite persistent. So at this point I'm thinking, right, well, I'm pretty safe now, aren't I? Smeargle has still got its Scarf, hasn't it? I'm pretty sure I haven't switched shoes in this game. So Smeargle's got to lock itself into something. Tapu really can't do anything, so I'm thinking, well, that has to switch into the Among Us, because he was going to want to come back in and superpower. And he does, shed the Protect on Incineroar, but I'm still all out pummeling into the Incineroar. I don't want to mess around with it, because that is the only thing that can really, knock out either of my Kartana at this point. So I just Z move into it, which brings it down to just over 50%, but that is definitely in +1 Sacred Sword range from now. So Among Us really can't do anything. I'm pretty sure at this point it hasn't got a Hidden Power Fire, so I can just double into this Incineroar with a Sacred Sword, which will definitely knock it out, and a Leaf Blade, which will cover the Tapu Bulu switching. The only thing that I was worried about this turn was him staying in with the Incineroar, me getting a Leaf Blade critical hit onto the Incineroar and bring it, or maybe even not a critical hit required, to bring it into its 50% berry range, and then maybe a +1 Sacred Sword not knocking it out, which is a bit far-fetched. I'm pretty sure I still would have been safe either way, but I still went for this play, just because I knew that the Bulu was going to come in there, and I didn't want to double Sacred Sword into it. So I knock out the Tapu Bulu. Nicely, it's the actual Kartana that gets the Beast Boost instead of the Smeargle, because my actual Kartana can swap its moves up. And at this point, the game is pretty much won, really. I know, really, at this point, the Amoonguss can't do anything, because he just protected needlessly that turn. So I can just Sacred Sword into it. He can't Rage Powder me, he can't do anything like that. My Smeargle is locked into Leaf Blade, so it's not really doing anything. So I switch it into Tyranitar just to start getting some chip damage away, because I noticed at this point my timer is actually getting quite low. I've, at this point, only got about 50 seconds left of the game, and it's got like 2 minutes or something. So I'm really low down here, time-wise. But he doesn't, maybe this turn he doesn't recognise that, and he doesn't even fake out. Sacred Sword knocks it out. Sandy is chipping away at the Amoonguss. I know it's Pineapple Berry, so it's not a 50% berry. I can just stay in and just start attacking it basically here, so he can't do anything. If he puts my Tyranitar to sleep, then fair enough. I'm still getting a crunch into it, and I can just Leaf Blade endlessly into it at +2, I think I am now as well, so the game is locked up, but he's noticed that I am low on the time now, so he is going for the Protect, just to, you know, make it a bit more tense. But yeah, the game is over at this point. And Scarf Smeargle does some more business with Transform. So, you know, speed tie or not, you know, I felt like Transform was probably the best thing to do there. I mean, if I'd gone for a fake out into the Bully, he went for a fake out into my Kartana, and I would have had to have switched. Yeah, I would have had to have switched Smeargle, and I don't know if I would have wanted to have lost Tyranitar like that. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered. I do think that maybe some smart switches with this side with Intimidate might have helped him, but I do think my Katana, after I'd Sword Stance, was probably ready to just win the game, you know, from where it was. But close game anyway, and a really, really, really scary best of 3 with lots of interesting things happening, you know, switcheroos and transforms and spores over the course of the games. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this. You know, pretty shocking quality as it's on a camera and everything, but I hope you can appreciate the variety of things that my Smeargle can do, and why I chose to go for it again this year like I did in 2016. But anyway, thanks a lot, guys. In the coming days, I may try and do some BattleSpot games with this team, but I don't know how many people will actually be on BattleSpot, because, you know, the VGC 19 rules are out now. A lot of people are going to be testing for that now as well, so you know, it's a bit of a shame. I was going to take this time to do some games with a few of the teams that I used throughout the format, and, you know, just use the time between now and the new year to do that. But seeing as we've got the new format straight away, probably not. You know, you're probably not too interested in that now. So you know, I'll maybe do a few and see how we go. But you know, we'll see how things go. But anyway, hope you've enjoyed this, guys, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye for now.